Okay, welcome back. We're on our next phase for building a bait launcher or a bait cannon. This is to launch bait for fishing, basically, as far as you can. So the next phase, I'm going to be assembling the fittings here. That's going to bring it around. Before I start, I just wanted to make note that I want everything to be in a specific orientation, and so what I'm doing is I'm holding my plumbing here in line. You could see with the red lettering, I marked it with a pen, so that when I do put this together, my plumbing is going to be coming up. I don't want it coming sideways and have that all off alignment because it'll look silly. I'm using Teflon tape. You can get standard Teflon tape, or if you want to get thicker Teflon tape, it will save you from having to wrap it as many times. Now you guys get to learn a little bit of plumbing information here on how to properly wrap Teflon tape on a thread. What you do is you put your thumb down and you kind of give it a pull and you stretch it out, okay? And you keep applying that pressure, okay, as you're wrapping it, all right? If you don't apply the pressure, the tape doesn't go into the actual grooves of the thread, and what's going to happen is, you can see how it started coming off there. So I'm going to work backwards until I can get a grip on there, and you're going to have to, you could see, you could even take it off and put it back down. It'll find the grooves again, and just pull that even harder. Pull it in there. You can see I got a little tear. Not a big deal because we're going to be overlapping it. So you can see I'm trying to put pressure on to keep that tape in place with my other hand as I'm pulling it. And once you actually overlap it 1 or 2 times, you can see now I don't have to put pressure or hold it down. It applies that force that you've stretched the tape out and gotten into the grooves is holding it itself. You only need to go around this 1.5 times. Pay attention to the direction I'm wrapping it. I'm wrapping it clockwise with the thread. The reason why is because when I actually put it in here and thread it in, you want the end of the tape to be tightening with it, not going against the tape so it comes apart and creates a gap, okay? So that's one threaded fitting right there. Now I'm going to do the other side. Same direction. Now if you got a bad end piece of the tape, just use your finger and try to get as straight of a piece as possible. Put it down with your thumb, okay? Get that piece off. And just spread it out. Pull it tight. And again, you're just going to, the bigger the tape, the harder it is to get it to start. So it's a little bit trickier, but you just have to keep holding that down. You could see even me, I do this for a regular daily job plumbing, and actually normally I use that tape. I decided just to use this bigger tape just to make it quicker, which obviously it's not working. There we go. And once you get it going, you should be able to pull on that tape, and as long as it doesn't spin around the fitting, you're good. As you thread this into the pipe, it'll tighten down and seal up, okay? The whole purpose for the tape is that when you thread it in, it fills the gap so there's no way for air to leak out. Now, in addition to that, we're going to be using this thread sealant, okay? It's like it's kind of like a putty, and over a couple days it'll dry and become hard. But this is just an additional way of basically creating a seal so that no air will leak out, or liquid if you were to use this in the plumbing field. So you apply that there. I'll go ahead and apply it to the other side too. Okay. You don't need that much. You always typically want to be careful that you don't want to get it over this edge here, because you don't want it to push in, because when you apply air, it's going to take whatever material's in here and push it through the whole pipe, and you could get it stuck in your valve. So now we're here. We're going to go ahead, thread this in here, okay? And I'm going to overhang this so I can take my elbow, and I'm going to go ahead and just start threading the whole thing in, okay? Once it becomes tough to do, then we'll put a wrench on it. So right now, I'm going to go ahead and take my wrench. I'm going to open it up to the size of the pipe, just to where I can get about half the wrench in there and get a good grip on this. And now, I'm just going to spin this around. Now, it's possible to actually crack this pipe if you thread it too far. So what I'm doing here, what you should do is tighten this one first, and then put this on and tighten it. I'm kind of taking a shortcut here because I do this for a living, so I'm not worried about cracking it. I know when I need to stop. Because I see this part spinning, once I see that stop spinning, I know I could potentially crack it here. Okay, so you can see that the threads are just about gone. And as long as you have more than 50% of your thread, actually, so now this stopped spinning and it's spinning on here, which tells me I'm bottoming out here. So going back to my mark here, I want my elbow facing upwards. So I'm going to keep turning this until my elbow is facing up, just like so. Okay. And if you need to adjust it, you could go back a little bit because everything is still wet. You can see how hard that is. I'm going to use my leg. And there. So I just tweaked it, okay? You can just tweak it as you need it. All right. So now if we take a visual thing, we could look down the pipe and see that we're aligned. We're going to go ahead and continue now. So that's welded in. Let's see, how long is our time here? 7 minutes. We're going to go ahead and pause here, and then we'll continue in the next video.